Bilaam the sorcerer, the villain of this week's Torah portion, was on his way to try to curse the Jewish people after being hired to do so by Balak, another enemy of the Jews, when God sent an angel to stand in his way. Bilaam didn't see the angel, but his donkey, who must have been more sensitive than him, did, and his donkey avoided the angel multiple times. Bilaam got frustrated and struck his donkey, and then God made an incredible miracle, meant to send a message to Bilaam. God sent the power of speech to Bilaam's donkey. It started talking to him. Now, you know, and I know, and Bilaam should have known, that when a donkey starts talking, that's a really big deal.
Hey, I can fly!
He can fly!
He can fly!
He can talk.
That's right, fool. Now I'm a flying, talking donkey.
So Bilaam should have realized, 1 second, my donkey's talking. That's a miracle. That must mean that God's behind it. Why is God making my donkey talk? He must be sending me a message. What's the message? Oh, I get it. God told me that if I went along on this nefarious episode, I'd only be allowed to say the words that he would put in my mouth. But I've been thinking all along that I'd be able to outwit or outsmart God, and that I'd be able to curse the Jews and earn my money. But God's showing me that if he can make a donkey talk, he could certainly put the words that he chooses, into my mouth. So I ought to abandon my plan, turn around, and head home. But instead of getting that message, the message sent miraculously, tailor-made for him, Bilaam not only ignores it, but in his wicked quest to curse the Jews, he pretends that there's nothing out of the ordinary. Astonishingly, not only does he not recognize the miracle, he starts talking back to the donkey, as if it's the most natural, normal thing in the world to have a conversation, a back and forth with your animal. And unfortunately, so often, we do the same thing. There will be a preposterous series of interconnected events that only God could have orchestrated, and they result in us finding our soulmate, or getting a job that we could have only dreamed of, or making a small fortune in a deal. And we chalk it up to a series of coincidences, failing to see God's hand in what had happened. Or we survive some illness when medically we shouldn't have. Or we narrowly miss getting hit by a car. Or we get into some other type of accident or situation in which we should have been hurt very badly, but instead somehow we survive and we stand up unscathed and just snap our cuffs as if we're James Bond and then just get up and walk away, failing to realize that God had just sent us a message or had saved our very lives. So often, the phone will start ringing, and it's God on the other end of the line. But instead of answering it, realize that he's sending us a message, that he's the one who's calling, we ignore it. We just let it ring and ring and ring.